Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's April 15th, tax day. Also, it's the day after the final generous deferred resignation program offer. I want to make a couple of corrections. Well, not corrections. I just want to go into something a little further, real quick. Now, I am from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Now, in my previous video, I was saying Fort Bragg. If any of you are familiar with Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Fort Bragg, North Carolina are so intertwined that sometimes people say they're from Fort Bragg because people know Fort Bragg, or some people say they're from Fayetteville, but I am actually from Fayetteville. I joined the Marine Corps in 1989 from my hometown in Fayetteville, and did my time, did my 4 years, and came back home, and then went back to I was in Okinawa, went back to Okinawa, and stayed there for a while, and became civil service, and worked my way back to the East Coast. Uh, let's see, back to deferred resignation program. Now, someone did ask in the comments from a previous video about future job openings with the government. Now, don't let this reduction discourage you from applying for jobs with the federal government. There will be many opportunities to work for the federal government. Just look at this as a downsizing for cost savings. What we used to call it, cost savings. Just to set cost savings, finances, and to basically a life cycle. And what I mean by life cycle, for example, like I was saying, I'm gonna use myself for example a lot. You're gonna see that often. But like I told you before, I worked on Fort Lee, Virginia, now Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia, for over 20 years, and I supported a program that was being replaced by an updated version of the program. It's always a bigger and better version that comes out, and the thing is, it took over 20 years for the new upgraded version to be implemented. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but you got to remember, in the Defense Department, when stuff is put out for the troops, it's got to be perfect. I mean, every fail safe has got to be tested. I mean, it goes through strenuous testing. So, for a lot of civilians, when you hear things like it took 20 years for this upgrade to be implemented, a lot of people don't understand the big picture is it's got to be perfect. This is for our troops. This is for defense. So all the fail safes have to be taken care of. It's got to be tested for any instance that people can think of. So, it's tested. It fails, it goes back to the drawing table. It tested. It fails something else. It goes back to the drawing table. Then it comes out, and then people want something else added. So it takes a long time, but believe me, when it comes out, it's right on point. So, but back to what I'm getting at. Um, like with this reduction in force that's going to happen, it's a life cycle. Basically, like I said, our support for this program that was in place for 20 years, and once the new upgraded system came into place, everyone that worked on that old system that I supported, well, there was no need for them. But them being civil service and the contractors that supported this program as well, like I told you, government doesn't like to let people go, neither the contract companies. So what they do is they try to find other places to put these people. And then about a year, it's pretty hard because there's a lot of people. I mean, over thousands of people involved in a program. And once that happened, they had no place to put them. So then they have the reduction in force, where they start off with the VERA VSIP, which is a voluntary early retirement or voluntary separation, and they pay people, and you can get up to, like I said, 40K depending on how long you were with the government. And then when that doesn't work, when people don't want to leave, then they have a reduction in force where they force them out. And it's just a life cycle where, hey, I'm sorry, you know, program is gone, and we're moving forward with another. We're moving in a different direction with this other program, where we're not going to need as many people as we did before. So, we're going to have to try to find you another job, and if we can, we're going to send you home. And so that's what you look at this as. That's all this is a life cycle. And if you have qualifications that are in demand with the government, you can go to usajobs.gov and do a wildcard search, or just do a basic search, and you'll see what's in demand, because the government is always looking for quality people to hire to go forward in the future. Like you got Space Force, AI, especially with AI, is being heavily and quickly implemented in all departments of government, which is a good thing. Our country has to stay ahead of the game. We can't stay on old stuff always, or we're gonna be in bad shape. So we have to move forward with that. So basically, that's what this is. This is to save on budget, and is to give people who worked on phased out programs, like for me, a way to go home. Because, like I said, once my program was closed, I just went and worked and supported various programs was where I was needed, and luckily, President Trump gave this generous offer, and I took it. So I'm free, and still get paid until December. So hopefully, some of you really considered taking that offer. They closed out yesterday, because that's it. Now comes the pain. So, like I said, I know people that I deal with, and a lot of them do not want to face the music, or are too afraid to face the music, and now they're going to be forced to go home. Because, like I said in my previous video, when a reduction in force occurs, they go by seniority and veteran status and so on and so forth. And they will offer them, they will try to, they will keep those people first, and then, work down a list, but they're going to get rid of people. And then they have to offer them another job somewhere in a geographical location. And if they can't find anything, they send them home and put them on primary placement program, which is, I think, lasts for 2 or 3 years. And then that's it. You're finally out. And the worst part of that is uh, you get nothing. You get your retirement, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with retirement. At least it's income. You can do something with that. But the thing is you miss the bonuses. You miss the big bonus. Like now, all the way until December, I can chill. So, and those people that took it yesterday, they can chill until September 30th. So, hopefully some of you really faced the music and took it. If not, hopefully you'll make it through this. But like I said, don't discourage. Don't anyone out there that watches this video, don't be discouraged from applying for the federal government. It's an awesome place to work. I had wonderful adventures working for the government. Went all over the globe. Uh, Many adventures, wonderful adventures. And don't let it discourage you. Just always stay abreast in what's in demand. Like, I worked IT for 20 years, and the government on USA Jobs is looking for people, security experts, and that was the new demand, and I believe it still is. But now, like I said, I'm telling you right now, AI is taking over a lot of things. So, find out, go online. There's always articles. The federal government always posts articles about what they're doing. They don't go deep into it, but they give you a gist of where they're going, and you can see what's in demand. And there's always opportunities to educate yourself. There's even free stuff online, and many opportunities in the government. And they don't care who you are, as long as you're a quality person. Yeah, you can hop on board. I'll never forget. Like I told you, the people I support, a lot of intelligent people. These people were engineers, programmers, designers, support staff, all kinds of logisticians, all kinds of people. And I never forget because the government, does hire a lot of veterans. And I remember one time, well, this building where I supported, there was this one guy. Now you gotta imagine this building. This building was like an older crowd, so they shaving, well cut hair, shirt and tie, women wearing dresses, so on and so forth. Even the wore pants, but what I mean, it was an older crowd, and there was one guy in there. He had earrings and piercings all over the place, long hair. He looked like I don't know what they call it now, but back in my day we used to call it a punk rocker. He looked just like a punk rocker, and he stuck out like a sore thumb. You got to imagine going to your grandparents' house or going to a rest home or something, and then you know how those people are very conservative, and then all of a sudden you see somebody with tears piercings all over and tats and stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just out of place. And there was one guy there that was like that. But the thing was, this guy was a genius. He was freaking genius. And like I said, they hired him because that's what they needed. They needed that intelligence for something they were working on, but he stayed there for a while. Nice guy, and eventually he moved on because it was not enough of a challenge for him. So that tells you how intelligent this guy was. He was like, "Oh, this isn't a challenge for me." So I've taken something in DC and I'm moving on. And I never forgot that. But that just shows you. I just want to encourage you. If you want to work for the government, you can. There's plenty of opportunities. There always will be. This is just a life cycle, what we call in the government a life cycle. You're moving out old phased out stuff and bringing in new stuff. So that's what's happening here. But I just wanted to post this because I saw in the comments people were asking questions about it. So yes, there are many opportunities in federal government. Apply, look online, go to USA Jobs. You'll kind of see, you get just a picture of what they're looking for. You can even look online. Like I said, AI is it. Security and AI is what is in demand. It's heavily in demand. So, and like I said, the federal government is great to work for. A lot of people um, don't like the idea that civil servants can't get fired. We have job security, but that is a good thing. Now, it's a good thing because what it is like a lot of things are implemented. A lot of systems are implemented and they get abused. They initially have good intentions and then people abuse them. And what I mean by that with the civil servant, the reason you can't get fired is to prevent corruption. Like say if I'm an employee and I'm doing my job and my boss is corrupt and he tries to come to me and tell me if I don't do this corrupt stuff with him or her that I will be terminated. Civil service, you can't do that. I can turn my boss in and get him investigated or whatever, and no matter he can't do he or she they can't do nothing to me. They can get investigated, they get caught, arrested, or they can get investigated and find out that they're not doing anything, and it's fine. My job is still safe. They can't do anything to me. I can still get promoted, but I can move on and move up with no problem. So that's what that's for. But like I said, a lot of things that have good intentions get abused. You have these what I call S birds or shite birds, horrible employees. They'll do their probationary period, and then after that they go from sugar to shite, and they're just awful, awful people. And the longer they're in government, the harder it is to get rid of them. I worked one time. I worked MWR before I worked with my current well, my former position, and I'll never forget there was an employee we had, and this guy every day would argue with our boss, and there was nothing our boss could do about it. Boss would get on the phone and say, "Hey, this guy just cussed me out. He's doing this, that, and the other." And heck was like, "Well, you make a note of it." And long story short, they told him the process. It took a year. It took a year before this guy was cut loose. And when you try to fire somebody in civil service, it's a process. And to get fired from civil service is very difficult, but possible. You have to give the person a personal improvement plan, and they have a year to clean up their act. And then if they don't, you can cut them loose. But it's a process. It is really a process. It's easier to just send them to another job or send them somewhere else than to cut them loose. But like I said, that's because that security is, hey, if you see something corrupt, you don't have to do it. Nobody can force you to do anything corrupt. And if you see it, turn them in. I've worked with FBI agents that didn't get along with anyone in their office. Turned the people in their office, and they went to work every day, no problem, because they knew they couldn't get fired. But that's what you want. That's what this is for. So don't don't let people misguide you on that. That is needed. Hopefully that will stay, because if you get rid of that one little thing, that one little stipulation, then like I said, then you can have corruption. The boss can come to their employee and say, "Hey, I'm doing this, and you're gonna do this. I'm gonna fire you." You don't want that. You want that system to stay in place for eternity. That's it. I just wanted to share a little bit now. Thank you for the wonderful comments, and congratulations to those of you that have taken the program, enjoying life like I am. I really am enjoying life. I worked out yesterday, and it was fantastic. I think the sweetest Monday I've had in a long, long time was this previous Monday, because I was retired. And I'm gonna tell you, a retirement Monday is way better than a work Monday. Way better. I mean, I did my morning run. I did my calisthenics, and it felt good. Matter of fact, I got stuff going on with my spine, but I pushed through it. I ran, workout, and I actually felt better. I felt a lot better. It felt good. I didn't have no knots in my stomach. For those of you, working folks, you know what I mean. You get those Monday morning knots in your stomach before you go to work. Another week, or just another week of starting with the crap, and it's just a horrible, horrible feeling in your gut when you're doing that Monday morning commute to work. It's just, you know what I mean. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. It's like sickness just sitting right in your gut, and you're carrying that all the way in until you get to work, and it's not a good feeling. So on the other side, this retirement Monday morning is sweet, because it just makes it that much sweeter. You don't have that wrench in your gut. It actually you feel relief in your stomach. You're like, "Hey, it's Monday. I feel great." It's a good feeling. It's good freedom. So that's it for now. I will talk to you all again very soon. I'll post another video. I'm gonna put some more information out there. Hopefully you can get something out of this video. Keep those comments coming, so I can get better at this. I'll do this more often. Just a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, I'm working on my fiance in the Philippines and my young son. Getting him here, so we can stay in the U.S. I'll post about that too. Some people go abroad and stay for a while. I plan to go back and forth, but mostly I love America. I love living here. Like I said, I've been all over the globe, and I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing like America. It really, it's not. Our lifestyle is awesome. Uh, Job opportunities awesome. Business opportunities are awesome. Our infrastructure is great. It's really discouraging when I see people complain about our country, because there was so much hard work and suffering to get us to where we are now. And hard work and suffering by all Americans before us, by all the hard work to carve out this wonderful land and lifestyle that we live in. I, for one, really appreciate it because I've been all over the globe. I've been on the outside, looked in, and we have it great. So that's it for now. You know, this 53-year-old guy, I'll just keep ranting on all day. All right, take care. Please keep those comments coming, and I will see you again soon.